What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with another video. Join us now as we look at the 10 most shocking rumors you need to know about Wrestlemania Backlash this weekend. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Number 1. WWE getting ready to acknowledge Roman Reigns? Is the WWE setting the stage for Roman Reigns to turn babyface? Well, fans who tuned into this week's Raw heard the unusual amount of cheers for the Bloodline, but for the first time the WWE's announced team acknowledged, well, no pun intended, the amount of fans cheering for the Tribal Chief. Wrestling News' Angel Rodriguez commented on the situation, saying, "After the entrance, the announcers acknowledged that Reigns was getting a mixed reaction from the crowd. If that was a line from Vince McMahon, then it's another sign that Reigns' babyface turn could be coming." Rodriguez mentioned Reigns' babyface promos are recent live events, and that there's no doubt the WWE Universe has been getting behind the head of the table. However, just when is the WWE planning on turning him, and could it happen as early as this Sunday's WrestleMania Backlash event when the Bloodline take on RK Bro and Drew McIntyre? Number 2. Bullet Club 2.0. Our fans are already talking about the potential Bullet Club reunion after Finn Balor saved AJ Styles from a post-match attack by Judgment Day's Edge and Damian Priest. While the WWE acknowledged Styles' association with club members Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows without naming the Bullet Club, fans are curious as to whether they'll also mention Styles and Balor's New Japan affiliation. Even if they don't expect to see Balor involved in Sunday's match, and while Balor has been jobbing far too much, there's no denying he has the skills for a phenomenal, pun intended, run alongside Styles against Edge and Priest. Number 3. The champ is here, but the championship isn't. Incredibly, WrestleMania Backlash will have no Men's World Championship defenses, as undisputed champion Roman Reigns teams up with the Usos to battle RK Bro and Drew McIntyre. With the aforementioned rumors of Reigns turning babyface, fans might be wondering if the WWE cancelled a tag team title unification match between the Usos and RK Bro until it can figure out what's next for Roman Reigns, both in terms of a turn and how he'll defend his titles. The WWE is apparently going the Brock Lesnar route when it comes to mandatory title defenses and letting Reigns defend when he wants to. In the meantime, the WWE can figure out whether it wants to truly unify the two belts into one, give Reigns another boost with a double reign until it figures out how to book him or take the belt off him once the WWE realizes how much it needs two world titles. And one way would be to have a Money in the Bank winner defeat Reigns, but the WWE ruled that only one belt could be on the line. Number 4. Main Event Musings. Now that the WWE has changed up its men's title matches, could fans see Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey get the main event treatment they were denied at WrestleMania 38's first night? Whether or not you believe the rumors that Ronda Rousey was upset that a Mania match with Flair was eclipsed by the impromptu bout between Kevin Owens and Stone Cold Steve Austin on night 1, this is the WWE's chance to feature another women's match in the main event. Although the WWE's past decisions to feature women's matches in the main event haven't always been based on merit or main event status, there are no other title matches at Backlash. Number 5. Returning wrestlers. The recent returns of female superstars Lacey Evans and Asuka naturally have fans curious when Bayley is coming back to the WWE. While there's only one women's match booked for Backlash, that could change with the WWE booking a women's tag championship match and Bayley returning to attack Sasha Banks. After all, Bayley warned Banks that she would get a revenge on her for her loss to the Boss at 2020's Hell in a Cell. The WWE could also book a backstage segment where Bayley returns. Unless the WWE schedule for Backlash runs under fire, fans will have to wait for Bayley's return on television rather than Backlash. Number 6. Turn time. The WWE has worked overtime with a recent number of turns, but that doesn't mean they've stopped. The recent heel turns by Rhea Ripley and Ciampa, coupled with Mustafa Ali's recent face turn, could be just the beginning. One potential turn is with Finn Balor, who appears to be working alongside AJ Styles against Edge and Damian Priest, but who could change course, arguing he's tired of listening to the fans. The same motive that drove Edge and Damian Priest's turn. This would fit in smoothly with Edge vs AJ's bout, as Styles could be on his way to a hard-won victory thanks to Damian Priest being barred from ringside, only for Balor to cost him the match. Number 8. More matches. The WWE has currently 6 matches scheduled for Sunday's show, and other than 2, Omos vs Lashley and Happy Corbin vs Madcap Moss, the promotion has everything to gain by running longer matches involving top workers such as RK Bro, The Bloodline, Drew McIntyre, Charlotte Flair, Ronda Rousey, AJ Styles, Edge, Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes. Throw an excessive number of hype videos and the WWE can fill 3 hours of the show, but do they want to keep with the past practices of too much filler and not enough wrestling? And what if the WWE decides to stretch Backlash out to 3.5 hours or even 4? If they do, don't be surprised to see at least one secondary title defended. The WWE also has several undercard matches it could give the pay-per-view treatment to, including the new program involving Mustafa vs Ciampa, the interminable New Day vs Sheamus and Ridge Holland series, or Rhea Ripley vs Liv Morgan. Number 8. The return of Alexa Bliss. And the last time we saw Alexa Bliss was at 2022's Elimination Chamber, where she was eliminated by winner Bianca Belair. Since then, it's been no secret that Bliss took time off to get married. However, it was also reported that even though Bliss was eager to come back, they had no plans for her at all, and she wasn't happy about it either. She was in the midst of becoming normal again after she was supposedly possessed by the Fiend, but that really had no endgame. Bliss is ready to come back at any time, so could WrestleMania Backlash mark her return? Is she still possessed though? Well, one could have her come back at WrestleMania Backlash and join the out there Judgment Day stable with Edge and Damian Priest vying for the championship once again. As after all, even though Damian Priest is barred from ringside, that doesn't mean that a third member isn't. Bliss could interfere and then cost AJ the match. Number 9. The WWE pauses. A WrestleMania Backlash is in many ways just a poor sequel to WrestleMania. As we've pointed out many times, rematches should have variety to them, and there's little of that on the card other than Charlotte Flair putting her SmackDown Women's Championship against Ronda Rousey. Now, we're not lobbying the WWE to make every match a Hell in a Cell match, but what's so special about AJ Styles' rematch with Edge or Seth Rollins' rematch with Cody Rhodes? Maybe the case can be made that Omos vs Lashley has some spice added to it thanks to MVP's heel turn on Lashley and the new alliance with Omos. We won't even ask why Happy Corbin vs Madcap Moss is doing on pay-per-view when it seems like a much better match for SmackDown. Once again, Backlash isn't about building off WrestleMania to further feuds, it's about recycling matches so the WWE can figure out what it's going to do in its coming big shows such as Money in the Bank and SummerSlam. That means that the WWE still has time to kill with Hell in a Cell, which means fans are likely going to see several rubber matches to the WWE's next premium event. It doesn't mean that the show is going to be a waste of time, especially when you have such an incredible array of talent wrestling each other. The downside is that this show seems like the WWE is putting in the bare minimum effort to produce it. Cancelling the biggest match on the show and changing it to a 6-man tag sounds like something you'd see on Raw or SmackDown. And number 10, championship concerns. The WWE's incredible lack of championship bouts here has to concern fans who wonder whether the WWE has any short-term, let alone long-term plans for its secondary titles. It's obvious that Austin Theory has a rocket strapped to his back. The current US champion could benefit from an appearance at the pay-per-view, as could Intercontinental Champion Ricochet, who seems to be on the cusp of a push. Unfortunately, it's quite unknown whether it's into the upper card or back down into the opening card abyss he's been trapped in for years. While we would mention the Women's Tag Team Championship, it's hard to keep track of whether there are any team contenders left that haven't broken up. Maybe it's time for Shotzi and Exile Elite to team up and get what might be a pre-future Endeavor parting gift. But there you have it, guys. I'll look at 10 shocking rumors you need to know about WrestleMania Backlash. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.